killing me softly with this song.
Of music and of the piano.
My earliest memories are actually of my church experience. When I got in the church situation, in the little Sunday school programs and Sunday school teaching situations, and they needed somebody to play Jesus Loves Me This, that was me, you know. And I had a chance not only to please myself, but to please my peers, which even at 6 or 7, as a performer, is a really hard thing to do. You know, you can resort to thumb sucking in a minute. It's hard to play Jesus Loves Me and suck your thumb. So, you know, it really is. So, yeah, so I was really lucky. That's when I began to realize that I could do something.
When did you get your first piano?
My father went to what was obviously a junkyard to get this, because when the piano came back, and I will remember this as long as I live, there was such an odor. Every time you played the keys and the hammers struck the strings, this odor would come out, because the little rat tiny people had been living in it, obviously, or there was some of that present. And it was an upright piano, and he painted it this lovely shade of pea green, which is, that probably happened because the paint was free, but it worked for me.
Oh, how did you get involved so intricately in classical music in the beginning anyway?
That was all there was for me. When the first time I heard a Chopin prelude, I just started to cry, because Chopin is so emotional and so romantic and so beautiful. As a person who loved music, when I was exposed, it was the classical music that moved me the most. I grew up in North Carolina and Virginia, so I grew up hearing a lot of country and western music. I loved that. Dear John, oh how I hate to write, you know. I loved that. I could sing that too. But what most moved me, what most stirred my young imagination was the Chopin, the Bach.
You were playing classical piano.
Yeah.
And it was only because somebody else came to you and said, really, you should start singing.
When I found myself at the Tivoli Opera Restaurant, which was in Georgetown, Washington, D.C., when the Kennedys were living there, it was a wonderful time to be there. I mean, for a person who was born in the ghetto like I was, to be in a situation where people walked in and said, play Gershwin, play an aria from La Boheme, play something from La Traviata, and I could deliver that. At one time, it was a Christmas holiday, and the owner of the restaurant wanted me to stop playing opera, stop playing Gershwin, play some Christmas music, get these opera lovers out of here so I can bring in the people who are standing around the block, you know. And so I started playing Christmas music, and somewhere in the middle of that, I started to sing Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, and everybody got quiet. And one of the waiters, Avery Morrison, came to me and said, child, you need to go and sing. You know, and I said, where? Sing where? You know, he said, anywhere. Shortly after that, people like David Frost and the Carson people, all of those folks suddenly appeared. And I began to get offers to appear on national television, even before I had a record deal.
Is it particularly painful for you that your father never got to see your success?
Yes. You know what's even more painful? That my family doesn't applaud me.
They do not?
No, they don't.
Why is that?
I think it's envy and jealousy. And I think that, you know, when you're black and you grow up at the time that we all grew up, and you see one person move away from the bunch, right, for whatever reasons, you want that. And my feeling has always been, it's okay for you to want that, but don't take it away from me. Recognize all of the struggle that I have made, personally, to be here. Here I was winning Grammys and sitting with Stevie Wonder and hanging with Diana Ross, and nobody ever said, wow, we saw you with Diana Ross. And it always hurt me. It did.
Not even your mother?
Not even my mother. My mother would say, oh, you're so good. You're so good.
The popular singer Roberta Flack, whose signature voice and soulful interpretations of songs such as Killing Me Softly with his song catapulted her to the top of the charts and influenced generations of so many musicians. She has died. The legendary singer died on Monday, according to a press release from her representatives provided to a couple of media personnel, and of course, no cause of death has been shared in this moment in time. But of course, it's common knowledge right about now that, Roberta Flack was suffering with ALS, that progressive disease. According to the statement, they said, "We are heartbroken that the glorious Roberta Flack passed away this morning on February 24th, 2025, and she died peacefully surrounded by her family." Roberta broke boundaries and records. She was a proud educator, and of course, she had been diagnosed, like I've told you, with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, otherwise known as ALS, in 2022, which resulted in the loss of her singing voice, her publicist said at the time. Flack topped the charts in 1970s with his hits including "The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face," "Killing Me Softly," with his song "And Feel Like Making Love," "Where Is Love," and "The Closer I Get to You." The song "Stress" was nominated, for 14 Grammy Awards, winning 5, including a Lifetime Achievement Award. She was the first artist to win the Grammy Award for the Record of the Year in back-to-back years for "The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face." And of course, in 1973, "Killing Me Softly" also won the award. It was already a great song. You can check it out on various music streaming platforms. The latter will go on to top the charts, and of course, again, 3 decades later, there was a cover by the Fugees, and of course, Flack's influence looms over both R&B and indie bedroom pop music, and of course, she's been regarded as one of the 100 greatest female artists of the century. In this moment in time, we are sending our deepest condolences to the family, friends, and everyone who was very close to the legend. Rest in power, Queen.